One. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, let's just dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about personalization today and some of the pluses and minuses and challenges. But we're going to try to keep it shorter. So let's get over to the windows. Okay, Walmart is going to discontinue its personalized shopping service, Jet Black. And I wondered about this when I first started. First of all, I do go to Walmart every now and then. We used to be there every week because our church was next door to it, kind of. And they knew our names, and all the checkout ladies knew us. And when my wife had some health challenges, they'd ask how she was doing. That's how much they knew us. But I don't go there as much anymore. And I would say most of the Walmart shoppers don't own Jets and probably don't know much about white glove service or any of those things. And so I didn't think it was a great fit. I mean, when I go to a Comfort Suites or a Holiday Inn, I don't expect a concierge. Just saying. I expect free breakfast and free Wi-Fi and free parking. And when I go to the fancy downtown hotels, I get none of the above. But I do get the concierge. And then I pay extra for everything else. It seems like a terrible deal to me. But that gives you a little picture of consistent branding, where the low-cost hotels offer plenty of free services. And the ridiculously high-cost hotels, you're paying for location. And you're paying a city tax and all kinds of other taxes when you say, oh, it's only $250 a night, but it ends up being about $400. So, that's the price you pay for going to the fancy hotel. And, they're different. They each offer completely different things. And Walmart was trying to cross that bridge, and I think it was a dumb idea. Okay, so next, let's just talk briefly about Media Post said that CMO's top priorities are organic search, content marketing, email marketing, paid search, social media, referrals, and affiliate marketing. But these are, the top one is 5%. So it's just a mishmash out there. And the funny part is attribution isn't in there, which means that you're not really going to know what's going on in terms of actual sales, no matter what. This one, at least you can measure the cost, the clear cost, but you don't know the net cost if you don't know who's buying from you once they click your site. And as we've pointed out, with 50% bounce, 80% if it's a landing page, it's expensive, and mail is a better deal. Just saying. Oftentimes it is. Okay, so now I wanted to go over talking about personalization. I thought this was kind of interesting. A bank. Oh, and I forgot to make sure I was landing in the right place, which I'm not. There you go. And a bank proposed this credit card, and social media exploded because apparently everybody thought that Harriet Tubman was pictured in a Wakanda pose. That was from the Black Panther country, and this was some kind of military salute in Wakanda. And just huge backlash, and said, looks like it was designed by a bunch of white marketers, which is, of course, a racist comment. White marketers who wanted, to do virtue signaling. This is the kind of the challenge you get for wading into social issues. But it's Black History Month, so I wanted to talk about it. And it turns out that the story is completely opposite First of all, the Obama administration had proposed putting Harriet Tubman's picture on the $20 bill, and an artist was commissioned to do a portrait of her. And this is the universal sign language sign for love. He started it 2 years before the Black Panther movie even came out. And so it had nothing to do with what social media was convinced it was. Plus, One United Bank is the largest black-owned bank in the country. So it was like this massive, hate campaign against this picture and against this bank for totally the wrong reasons. And part of this problem stems from the format of Twitter. I have to say, you get a picture and you get a comment and it goes wild. And it gets retweeted and it gets hundreds of thousands or millions of views before anybody can say anything about it, right? And the retraction never seems to get very far. And it happens on both sides of the aisle. And it's really sad. And you really have to watch out. When you see inflammatory tweets, whichever side you vote for, or whichever team you're on, as Scott Adams says, you gotta take a step back and say, how sure am I about the story that I've just been presented? It turns out the artist was trying to express Harriet's love and the bank was trying to tie in with the $20 bill, which may or may not, I don't know where it stands right now. That wasn't clear in the article, but it isn't canceled and it isn't in circulation, obviously, either way, but it's someplace in the middle. And so the bank then did a mail campaign for the card and overwhelming support, making lots of money because mail is targeted to their credit card holders who are largely black because it serves the black community. It's a black-owned bank. Wonderful. They should have done that. Instead, they could have tested it. They could have dry tested it in mail and never caused a problem and told the whole story. Instead, they used social media to post it, thinking they'll get lots of PR, which they did. Negative. If you want to test the waters, mail is far, far better. And that brings me to my last article, which I think is a good one. Let's go back over here. And I'm pretty excited about this one. This is kind of in the same vein. That you can personalize better in other channels. Twitter is not the channel for personalization, right? And neither is Walmart. That's the point I'm making today. Okay, according to Gartner, 80% of marketers who have invested in data-driven personalization will abandon their efforts. Due to lack of ROI. Now, part of that's because their attribution is so terrible. As I pointed out a couple of days ago, John Worth at Woodworker Supply tested a thank you card in his boxes. And he tested, I believe I suggested to him that he test even and odd zip codes in the third digit. And he did it that way. And it was very, very easy to track on the back end because you just look at the zip code on the order. And, after a while, whether they saw the thank you card or not. An old mailer taught me that. So you can test personalization. You can test, but you have to test it. You have to test quasi-personalization against ultra-personalization. And few do that because they don't even know how to track their regular digital advertising. Again, an excellent place to test mail. Authentic, but Peter goes on to say, okay, there's a real problem in getting good personalized data. There's another problem. Just because we know all the data about you does not mean we know what you'll buy next. That's the core key problem. You don't know what you're going to buy next. And so when I offer you one item, it's often not what you're looking for. Better might be a collection of items that fit your socioeconomic neighborhood. All that can be done without much of any data except your zip code. And again, mailers have been doing that for decades. Okay, read Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins. However, Peter says, right? Peter Mullen. Peter says, authentic human personalization will always remain key to delivering premium customer service. Again, now here's the concierge market, right? It's not the Walmart market, right? But if they call your call center, and I work with catalogers, some of whom have this profile, high-income people who want something nice. They want a gift. They don't know which one they want for their for their grandchild or their long-lost friend that they reconnected with on Facebook or something else. They want it to be special. Okay, so Peter's advocating the call center and teaching the call center. First of all, I highly recommend having call centers who speak the language of your marketing. That might be Hispanic call center. It might be a English as a first language call center. It might be a Midwestern call center versus an East Coast or West Coast call center. Just saying, tailor it to your marketing. You can do that, right? Again, you can do that because you can put different phone numbers on different marketing tools, especially if you use mail and you target different communities, okay? But he's saying open-ended questions, right? Authenticity equals personalization. Gone are the days of stilted word-for-word scripts, off-target canned responses to inquiries, and using computer screens to dictate conversational flow. Friendly questions, active listening, and trust in agent judgment. And I have to say that given the 50% bounce rate and as high as $10 per Google ad click, the call center is looking more and more economical as time goes by. I challenge CMOs to question your own thinking on the economics of mail and the economics of telesales. When we ran a telesales company back when I started with Vic Hunter, we had about 100 people employed, and we compared the differential in average order size from orders that came through the call center versus other orders. What we found was a significantly higher average order and average profit per order, which more than justified the cost of the call. Again, CMOs need to know basic finance. It's net profit. It's not upfront cost, like you're thinking with SEO optimization. Okay? Further, we find that catalog-acquired customers, often who go through the call center, are way, way more, 4 times more likely to place another order within the next 6 months. 4 times more profitable downstream. Another thing to keep in mind, you can radically change the profile with your competition if you actually have capable people who answer the phone in an understandable tongue. Okay? Just saying. Okay? On open questions. Can you tell me more about the problems you're trying to address? What are you going to use the product for? What features are most important to you? Often it's a simple good, better, best, but you're trying to fit it to the customer. Okay? I really like the ending of this. Data-driven personalization may not be the panacea many marketers originally thought. There's another way to go. Go back to the basics. The name, product of interest, and general location with natural open-ended questioning can be well worth it. Worth a test. Again, a test that you could do in the mail, that you could put on a special phone number, visible, which so few websites and marketers have today. So few even have an obvious place to to find the phone number, because they just are so committed to driving traffic to the web for shopping cart abandonment when people have questions. Some great thoughts today. I hope you like and share. I'm John Miglosh. Your friends will think you're smart. Bye-bye.